Hey tea heads, this is Don from Mayleaf. In this video, MaPo Tofu and tea. In this video, I'm just gonna have a chill Sunday. I'm gonna cook myself up something and see if it works well with this cooked PuErh tea. If at any point in time you enjoyed this video, then make sure you hit it with a like, and if you're not following us on all of our socials, then go click those buttons. It is Sunday. I have a little free time, so I figured, why not cook something? I love cooking, and last week, very kindly, in the post, I received this. This is a book by Alex, French Guy Cooking. Just a French Guy Cooking. For those of you who don't know Alex, shame on you. Alex is a YouTuber, chef, and engineer. So he kind of combines chefing and engineering, and he makes really, really great recipes. He sent me this book free of charge. He doesn't know I'm making this video. This is not a paid video. I just figure, why not thumb through this book and figure out if there's any recipes in here that I want to cook, and then if it pairs well with a tea. So I was flicking through here yesterday. There's loads of recipes, really, really nice kind of simple hacks on some classic dishes, but also a little bit more complex stuff if you want to go down that line. But in general, it's a real easy pick up and cook kind of book. But I found here, amongst all the kind of chocolate tarts and things that you would imagine a French chef to make, I found this. Now, Alex, if you're gonna say that you're gonna do a recipe for MaPo Tofu, you better come correct. It better be a decent recipe for MaPo Tofu. I love MaPo Tofu. Obviously, when I go to China, I eat a lot of Chinese food, and I do eat a lot of MaPo Tofu. In fact, for me, MaPo Tofu is one of those dishes. It's super, super simple, but it's the benchmark of any restaurant that claims that they can cook Sichuanese food. Because if the MaPo Tofu is no good, then you can be pretty much guaranteed that you shouldn't order from the rest of the menu. That's how important MaPo Tofu is for me. So when I go to a Sichuanese restaurant, I always order MaPo Tofu. That's my benchmark. That's going to test the skills of the chef. Not because it's super complicated, but because it's super simple. And if you don't get the balance of flavors right, it can be very, very bland. The history of MaPo Tofu, very briefly, it's, as I said, a dish that comes from Sichuan province in China, very famed for that mala, hot, spicy, and numbing sensation. So the combination of spicy chilies, but also the numbing sensation that comes from Sichuan peppercorns. So this comes from Chengdu, around 1860s, something like that. A couple opened a restaurant near a bridge in Chengdu. They started serving this tofu dish. The name of the dish translation roughly translate to pock-marked skin tofu. I know, pretty disgusting name. But it comes from the fact that, unsurprisingly, the husband of this husband and wife team had pock-marked scars on his face. And so the locals and the people who came from all around to eat this dish started to call it the tofu from the wife of the pock-marked skin chef. I know, pretty gross, but forget that. The dish is delicious. So it's been around for, the best part of 150 years. It's been refined. Usually they use minced beef in it, but Alex's version is a vegetarian version. It's a vegan version, so we can cook this one up. We'll see what it's like. Usually it contains some ground beef. It used to contain ground pork, but then it changed to ground beef, and that's the classic one. And it's meant to be this lovely balance of flavors. Fiery on one hand, numbing on the other, salty, pungent, really, really nice. You can see my mouth is watering. So I'm going to get cooking, and then we're going to judge it. Alex, I'm going to be honest, we're going to judge it and see how it stands up with all the other MaPo Tofus I've had in my life. All right, I'm going to get cooking. Smelling good. So we just need to finish it off. It took about half an hour, really, really simple. So we're going to finish it off with some, the green part of the spring onions, very important. Gives it a nice bit of freshness, bit of crunch, and nice color. Sichuan peppercorns. I don't skimp on Sichuan peppercorn. I love this numbing sensation. If you haven't had Sichuan peppercorn before, then get yourself some. It is such an interesting numbing sensation, and actually kind of reminds me a little bit of that tingling, fizzing sensation when you get a good Gushu ancient tea tree PuErh. A little bit of sesame oil, not too much, don't like it to be over the top in terms of a sesame oil, but definitely chili oil. So I've got some chili oil here. I'm just going to put a bit. Normally when you get MaPo tofu, it's like bright red color from all of the chili oil. This seems to be a little bit more of a kind of softened down rendition, but you can always add more. So I understand where Alex is coming from. All right, so now we're gonna taste it, and I'm gonna be honest. Now, why don't we score it? We'll score it out of 1 to 10. 10 being the best MaPo tofu that I've ever had in my entire life. So please be aware that anything above a 5 will be good, right? Because 10, you're talking about going to Chengdu and actually eating, like, seriously the best one. Oh yeah, this goes really well with rice, but right now, I just want to taste this solo. So in this is some minced mushrooms. I picked shiitake mushrooms. We've got minced onions. We've got lots of garlic. We've got lots of ginger. We've got fermented broad bean paste. We've got some fermented black soybeans. Oh, okay, here we go. That's it. I hate it when people do food programs and they go, just get it a taste, give it a taste. It needs to be fair. I'm getting this pungency from those mushrooms, those ground mushrooms, that real earthy, pungent aroma. That's great. Now it's all starting to layer up in my mouth. You're getting those mushrooms, you're getting garlic, you're getting ginger, you're getting beans, but fermented. It's got this kind of slightly musty kind of taste, which is really, really lovely. And then that is offset by the lightest of tofu. Important that you get silken tofu, so it just really melts. The crunch and crisp and oniony brightness of those spring onions. And then the chili coming through. I need more Sichuan peppercorns. I told you I was a bit of an addict, in fact. I can't get enough of this stuff. Oh yeah, starting to hit me now. Nice little buzz, little tingling, numbing sensation on my mouth. I love that. Yes, yes. More Sichuan peppercorns and more chili. But then that's just me. You can adapt to your recipe, and I totally understand why Alex has told you to add it at the end so that you can adapt to your own tastes. Okay, score. Honest score. Honest score, this gets an 8.3. 8.3, which is a really, really good score. And bear in mind that I'm comparing it to MaPo Tofus with ground beef. Now, whether or not you agree with eating meat or not, in my opinion, that added ground beef adds a certain savoriness, of course, adds a certain texture. So 8.3, did I say? 8.3 is a really, really good score. Congratulations, Alex. Bravo, bravo. I would say that this is authentic. It is a vegetarian version, which is cool, but it is authentic. Pick up the book if you're interested. There are loads and loads of recipes here, from mussels marinières, very French, meatballs, burgers, pancakes, lots of vegetarian recipes, lots of sweet recipes, some baked recipes as well. A really, really great book, really, really great gift as well for somebody that's kind of into cooking and wants to know a little bit more about the kind of engineering side of cooking. And if you're not following Alex on YouTube, then go check it out. We did a video together a year ago. So I'll put a link in the description below so you can see the videos that we did together. As I said, this is not sponsored in any way. He doesn't even know I'm doing it. Hello, Alex. You don't even know that I'm doing this. So this is going to be a bit of a surprise to you. Anyway, right, now to the tea. I've decided to pair this with Fire Phoenix. Fire Phoenix, for those of you who don't know, is a 2008, so 10-year aged HR cooked PuErh tea. So this is a cooked PuErh from Bulang, from Yunnan. The reason I picked this is because, I'll give you a little look of the leaves, is because Sichuan is very famous for its green teas. So I could have paired this with a green tea, which would have definitely cut through the spiciness, given a freshness to it. But it's also known for its HRs, for its fermented dark teas. And I figured the fermented tastes of this fermented broad bean here, those kind of fugsy, rootsy tastes of those mushrooms would work well, would pair well with this 2008 Fire Phoenix. So this is a cooked PuErh tea. For those of you who don't know what that means, you'll have to check out other videos. But essentially, it means that the leaves are picked and then fermented in a kind of wet pile process. But then after that, it's been aged for 10 years. So let's give this a sniff. The classic flavor profile or aroma profile for these kinds of teas is those deeper, darker, dankier notes. We're talking about wet caverns, we're talking about attics, we're talking about cellars, but then there's a distinct vanilla note coming through on it, a distinct oak casky notes coming through, maybe not oak, or maybe, but yeah, that dark wood, dried wood, and a little fruit and herbaceous note, like some dried dates and a little bit of celery tops, you know, those celery top spiciness, so the tops of celery leaves, just to give it a little bit of piquancy, a little bit of spice. I hope that this is going to work well with this MaPo Tofu, which is zinging in my mouth right now, totally zinging. It's just fizzing on my tongue. I love that. I love that Sichuan peppercorn. Okay, here we go. We're going to do a Gong Fu style brew. I'm not using a filter. We're going really, really, really farmer style here. No filters, tea boat, easy, easy drinking. Let's give this a taste first. Cheers, everybody. Immediately, I know that this is going to work well with this dish because of the fact that it's so stripping and cleaning and cleansing the texture of the tea. So it's going to really work well with all of the oil, the chili oils there. It's going to strip it. It's going to clean your mouth out, meaning that you're going to want to dive in for some more, and it's going to help to give that contrast. So every time you have a bite of this, it's going to hit you like fresh, and then you can cleanse it. But also, apart from the cleansing, it has flavor notes that are really, really deep, comforting. It's got some of that wet wood. It's got some of that forest floor. Dare I say, it's also got some of those mushroom notes in it, but very, very slightly. But the predominance here is wet rocks, cellars. It's got some of that herbaceous Chinese herbal note to it as well. Some of those slightly bitter herbs, but it's really, really, really understated. Very, very clean, very, very cleansing. really, really leaves your mouth with a great, great sensation. And this will give you many, many infusions. You'll probably give up before the tea. It's going to give you lots of nice, dark, brooding infusions. Right, I'm going to prepare one more and see how this pairs with this MaPo Tofu, which I have to say, I am quite surprised at its simplicity in terms of how it was to make. When I read the recipe, I was like, that looks a bit simple, Alex, but actually, it's all about those base notes. Getting some good mushrooms to mince. Spicy, salty, pungent, fermented. Textures, crispy, crunchy from the spring onions. A little bit of soft and chewy in those little bits of black beans. And then that silky, silky, silky tofu. Works a charm. The flavor marriage is perfect because the flavor of the tea just accentuates those earthy notes in this dish. And then after you've swallowed, cleansing. Leaves you with a really nice, clean finish and that little buzz, that hum of chili and Sichuan peppercorns. One last mouthful. Oh, wow. Good one. 8.3, I think that's fair. Cheers, everybody. Great combination. If you like MaPo Tofu, try a cooked PuErh with your MaPo Tofu. I'm sure that you'll agree that it's a winner. And if you would like to try this one, pick up the book. I'm pretty sure it's available. I've got grease marks all over it, but you know that a cookbook that has marks all over it means a cookbook that is used, which means it's a good cookbook. So, Alex, French Guy Cooking, thank you for sending me this pre-release book. I enjoyed cooking from it, and I'm sure I'll flick through and find some other recipes. But that's it, tea heads. If you made it to the end of this video, then make sure you hit it with a like. Follow us on all of our socials so that you don't miss out on any news and videos from Mayleaf HQ. If you're ever in London, then come visit us in Camden to say hi and taste our wares. If you have any questions, comments, or video ideas, then please fire them over. Other than that, I'm Don from Mayleaf. Thank you for being part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from those tea bags. Keep drinking the good stuff and eating it too. And spread the word because nobody deserves bad tea. Bye.